What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So, Deontay Wilder. You know what? Scrap it. Deontay Wilder. Listen, the reason he's earned his name back is because, from what I'm hearing, as you might have seen by the title from one of my leaked sources deep inside Deontay Wilder's camp, it appears he is in full cahoots with Team Scary on this one. What do we know? It's been well over a week now since Mr. Tyson Scary, aka Tyson Fury. Yeah? It's been over a week since the main man's ducked the fight. But not only has it been over a week, it's also been several days since bona fide proof, i.e. pictures of Tyson Scary out and about and whatnot, has been released. Now I sat on this information. Yeah? I'm gonna call a spade right now. It was more or less this time last week. Let's not forget, it was Thursday, Tyson Scary allegedly tested positive. This time last week, so Friday last week, one of Deontay Wilder's camp reached out to me and said, YB, I'm obviously next to Deontay Wilder, and I'm telling you that he's on board with this. And I thought, you know what? I've just told my dons that I ain't gonna air Wilder out no more. So I'm gonna sit on this and see what develops before I kind of leak this deep clandestine information. And that's what I did. I sat on it. I thought, let's see how things play out. I don't know how things play out. And I remember at the time, on Thursday, or on the Thursday or on the Friday, obviously last week, there was a small little snippet of Deontay Wilder's reaction. In fact, it wasn't even a snippet. It was Shelley Winkle saying, oh, Deontay Wilder's disappointed. And that's what we got. Thursday, Friday last week, when the news came out, we got a snippet from Shelley Winkle that Deontay Wilder's disappointed. It's now been over a week later. What has Deontay Wilder had to say? Nada. Now, I don't care what no one says. We've all heard how active we've all heard how active Deontay Wilder's conspiratorial mind is, not February 2020, he's had everything to say. He's had every excuse but the kitchen sink to say, has he not? But now, we're in a similar circumstance in as much as there's more skullduggery going on Fury's behalf, which up until this last week, Deontay Wilder's been happy to expose. Now all of a sudden, there's a genuine conspiracy thing going on, with actionable proof, as we've seen by the pictures. Let's not forget, the whole bottle thing, he's put someone in, oh man, he put someone in my drink, and the gloves, and I'm not saying, I think the gloves are funky, but either way, the point is, all the proof you let disappear. Now, we've got some active proof, and Mr. Wilder, Mr. Complaints and whatnot, is silent. And has been silent for a week. So you, man, tell me. Now, before we go on, I want to tell you, man, something else. You, man, know my position. I was happy to bang the drum for Wilder in Wilder's defence. But what I always struggle with, I struggle to bang the drum in defence of someone when they don't bang the drum in defence of themselves. Now, that doesn't mean you're a shill, because like I said, I like evidence. And there was evidence last week, as you, man, saw from my channel. We saw the evidence last week. My man was chanting on Wednesday and then positive on Thursday. It never made no sense. But despite all of this evidence that came out, he was partying on Wednesday. He's now at the casino, whatever else. All the skullduggery that's gone on over the last week. And all we've heard from Wilder, no word of a lie yet. I was expecting an Instagram post at the minimum. Something along the lines of, oh, see what I mean? I was expecting Wilder to at least put an Instagram post out. I mean, not being funny, yeah? Do you, man, remember that video he put out? Oh, man, FIFA for fun, 2 times. What was it? What did he say? I don't know what he said, but he was gassed. He was like, oh, man, FIFA for fun. And I smell the, silence is golden. And the Bible says that 2 times must be paid. And all that kind of stuff. I was waiting for one of them ones to drop. Because the way he was gassing oh man, the Bible says 2 times must be paid, baby. And you know, if it's not, he was good. He was doing way too much on the IG, and that's fair enough. But all these dons, yeah, are back to front. Their wires are all twisted up. I don't know what the cabal has done to your man Deontay, but his wires are all twisted. Yeah? Because now there's, in my opinion, not in my opinion, the bottom, yeah? Factual proof. There's been factual proof in the last week Tyson Fury is talking rubbish about his C-19 thing. And in the face of proof, what has Deontay Wilder done with it? Nothing. Not only nothing, I mean nothing. Not an Instagram post. Not a video. Not an interview. Wilder's been banging interviews, has he not? Banging them. We ain't heard nothing. And this is what gets me the most. And this is why I'm coming out with this source. And I should have, you know what? I should have ran it at the time. But it's problem with the YB. I'm too down the line. I don't want to jump on things. I should have jumped on it. I should have dropped this on Friday. I told you, man, straight. Listen, Wilder's 100% in on this. But you know what? It's better to be safe than sorry. I'm safe on this one. Wilder is in on this. Because even Malik Scott, Pete Malik Scott, yeah, on the Thursday, or the Friday, either one of the two, on the no, it must have been the Thursday, when these allegations first came out, Malik Scott jumped on it. And he said, oh man, Tyson Fury, he just playing games. But what do we know about Malik Scott? Malik Scott came out on the Thursday when it was still up in the air. In as much as initially ESPN came out and said, oh no, it's going to carry on. It's all fine. At that point, Malik Scott came out and said, oh, we're not going to buy into this. We think Fury's playing games. But like I said, peep Malik Scott. Where's Malik been since? Since the official calling off. Because think about it. So wait there a minute. Malik Scott had something to say. Fury's playing games. Before the fight was called off. So wait there. You can do a video. Speculating. Before there's been any real impact on your fighter, you had an opinion. But wait there a minute. Now the fight's officially called off. Malik Scott's been missing for a week. Explain that to me. So wait there. When it's all up in the air and you're not sure if the fight's off, you got something to say. Now the fight's officially off, and in theory, or not in theory, but yeah, in reality, you should be more mad, shouldn't you? You should have more things to say. Especially with all the stuff that's come out. And we know how much Malik Scott, even more so than Deontay Wilder, we know how much Malik Scott loves to talk. He stay talking. Where's he been at? He's been silent. Yeah? And that's what I told you about these cats here. They're not high IQ like the YB. Because if he was high IQ, even if he was going along, even if he was in cahoots with Fury, which they are, but even if they should have been thinking, they should have told Fury, listen, we need to stay consistent. Because if we suddenly go from airing you out 24/7 to being silent, dons like the YB are going to pick up on the discrepancy, and we're going to get aired out as is happening now. And that's the bottom line. The last week's events and the lack of response from Team Wilder is super sus, and it's not only that, obviously in conjunction with my inside source, my sleeper cell Don inside Wilder's camp, is game, set and match. Team Wilder, unfortunately, as much as I wanted to give Deontay Wilder's team a dub, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and some people will say, oh YB, you're just looking for a way to get Wilder. No, I still think Fury's the worst, because he shouldn't have played this one out. But either way you want to look at it, it appears Team Wilder is in cahoots with Team Fury. And even more evidence, for example. Check this out. Initially, when this fight fell through last week, yeah, guess what? Shelley Winkle came out and put a statement out almost on the day. But at the time, one of the key narratives was, oh, maybe Fury's doing this because the judge gave him 90 days, yeah? So people would say, oh, maybe Fury's doing this to extend the 90 days. On that Thursday, in Shelley Winkle's statement, Shelley Winkle said that, oh, we've already spoke to the judge and it's already been rearranged. Girl? You didn't find out until the Thursday that it was off. So how is it on the Thursday/Friday, you've already spoke to the judge, and listen, do you know how slow judges are? It took the man about 2 years to do the actual thing, didn't it? These judges, it's not how you think it is. It's not like super duper quick. So, like, what's going on here? How was it you found out on the Thursday/Friday, and on the Thursday/Friday, you've already spoke to the judge, and it's already been, what's the word? It's already been rescheduled, and it was all done nicely. How were they able to get? If it's not collusion, if Team Fury and Team Wilder aren't working together, how is it so smooth? Because again, from my point of view, Fury has just played me about for a year, not wanting to fight me. Now he drops his bombshell that he's sick. I don't know about you, man, yeah, but I'm going to the judge and saying, listen, he's playing more games. We need to take some punitive measures against him. Because at the end of the day, he's the one who booked the date. Now, you could argue OYB, but it's a medical cause, so they're not going to win. Listen, at least try, and better yet, if I was in Wilder's position, yeah, let's not forget, you've got to take into account the circumstances, or the suspect circumstances, meaning that you ring the judge and tell him, listen, this man's playing games. The onus then is on Fury to prove he's actually sick. Does that make sense? Because the whole thing Wilder should be pressing right now is Fury's lying. So when you ring that judge up and say Fury's lying, he's playing more games, he's trying to get out of it or whatever, the judge would then say, listen, Fury, it's on you. What proof have you got? Because it does sound suspect. Your team were the one who gave us July 24th, and now you tell it, after all this year of putting up the biggest fight, now you tell us you can't do it. Guess what? Not only did Shelley Winkle not even ask the judge, Shelley Winkle on the day of the announcement had already spoke to the judge and was happy to extend it. Does that make sense to you? And in fact, I've got another video coming soon, but I'm also hearing that this may have all been, because I don't know about you, man, yeah? Have you, man, seen any proof of this judge thing? Have you seen any proof of the court case? I haven't seen no proof of the court case. This could be one big circle jerk, to be fair. It's all, I don't know, man. It's all looking a bit too convenient for me. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's way too fishy. Things aren't adding up for me. I didn't see even with the news reporters, all the news from this court case of Judge Weinstein, it all came from Mike Coppinger. There weren't no big BBC thing and newspapers and cameras and whatnot. It was all just the random boxing dons. It was really weird. I don't know. I've never seen a court case like it. Never seen anything like it. Genuinely, never seen it. It was just all hush. It was all really weird. It was real weird. There was no press coverage. Normally, yeah, there's people in the courts and whatnot, and even the Britney Spears thing and that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's all. This was really sus. Bottom line, super sus. And now, to add insult to injury, you've got you should have tension between the two camps. You've just played me around for a year, and now you're pulling out. But somehow, you've reorganised the date, and you've asked the judge to extend the date. Why would you do that from Wilder's point of view? If you're truly suing this man, and you're truly, you know what I'm saying? You're truly going at him, and he pulls out 2 weeks before and throws an illness at you. Are you at least not going to press him with the judge and say, Judge, we think he's lying because of A, B, C, D? Look, Judge, he was just partying and chanting, oh, football's coming home, oh, it's coming home, oh. Isn't it? Sure, I don't care what no one says, yeah. Judges, it's not all black and white. Especially these days, people use social media information. If they showed the judge the information I've put together, I don't care what no one says. The judge is going to say, listen, Fury, it's on you now to show us something, cough up something. They didn't do that. There was none of that. They just, yep, no worries, we've already rescheduled it. It's not a problem with the judge. What? Why would you do that? If you're sworn enemies, why would you be so happy? And that's the point. The reason Team Wilder was so happy is because they're working together. Bottom line. And what makes sense is that the ticket sales sucked. That's it. The ticket sales sucked, and as a result, Wilder is thinking to himself, Wilder clearly, in my opinion, isn't all about the get back. Because if Wilder was all about the get back, he'd have said, I don't care about there being no tickets sold. I want my fight on July 24th. And therefore, Judge, we think he's playing games. And therefore, Judge, we need Fury to produce some proof. Simple as that. And the fact there wasn't even this tension in the public, if that makes sense. The fact Wilder hasn't even said these things of Fury, we want to see some proof. Because think about it. I don't care what no one says. The bare minimum, you must think Wilder's lying. I mean, you must think Fury's lying, isn't it? What do you think it's real? I don't care. Even the most non-conspiratorial people, given Fury's been fighting this fight, given Fury is trying to been putting this fighter for a year, and you have to take him to court allegedly, and then conveniently, the date he gives you, July 24th, he can't do it. How do you believe that? Never mind how do you just accept a new date if you're not working together. Don't make no sense. And again, like I explained throughout this video, never mind any of that. Where's Wilder been for the last week? Where's Motormouth? Malik Motormouth. I don't know what was his name. Malik. So whatever his name was, his name should have been Malik Motormouth Scott. He stays talking, doing way too much talking. And listen, I'm all for talking, but what gets me is, don't be a Motormouth 24/7, and then the one time, listen, let's call a spade here. If there was one time, where it was relevant for Malik Scott to be a Motormouth, when would that have been? More time is now, innit? The last week, I would have actually rated Malik Scott being a Motormouth, because it makes sense, doesn't it? Big fight drop off. It's a bit like, it's the thing, it reminds me of Tyrone Booth and whatnot. You got IFL TV, this was a big news event. Fury pulling out is a massive news event. IFL TV silent. Tyrone Booth has done 2 videos since the pullout. Hasn't mentioned it once. Wow. And now you got even Wilder himself. Mr. Loves the Conspiracy. Hasn't said nothing about it. We got a few words through Shelley Winkle. Do you believe that? Does that make sense to you? No, it don't. Bottom line, don't make no sense. And so therefore, in conclusion, hate to break it to you, man, but Wilder provably is in cahoots with this because of the tickets. I don't know why, but is in. You best believe. My sources told me he's in on it, and unfortunately, it's one thing. Like I said last week, when my source told me, I thought, you know what? Let me sit on this and see how it plays out. Now a week later, like as always, my sources don't miss. And now we've got all the circumstantial proof to back it up. People next to Wilder told me, listen, Wilder's in on this one. A week later, we've seen nothing to the contrary. And that's the best way of looking at this. What information do we have right now to the contrary that Wilder wasn't in on this, innit? You man tell me, over the last 10 days, give me some data points which say that, you know what, YB, you know what I'm saying? What has Wilder shown us? That's not only just Wilder. What have Team Wilder showed us? Which says, nah, there's no way they're working together. There's been nothing. Genuinely. Everything they've done has added up that they're working together. Shelley Winkle reorganised, talked to the judge within a day. And all this stuff. It's madness. Complete madness. And it's a shame. This just shows you how dirty boxing is. Even with the biggest alleged rivals. It's all for the TV cameras. Wilder and Fury are kissing necks behind closed doors, apparently. No doubt. It's shocking.